kitchen, so I can't enjoy the tea that's going on. But y'all know, as soon as I get done talking, I'm about to get on here and clock some of that tea, okay? Because what we ain't finna do is have no mama playing with my baby.
The internet has officially combusted because Karlissa didn't just wake up chaotic today, she woke up with receipts sharp enough to slice the entire Blueface family tree in half. And when I say receipts, I'm talking about a verified DNA report so loud, so disrespectful, so earth-shattering that even the Kardashians would pause their drama and take notes like interns. This isn't a leak. This feels like the universe itself whispered, "Drop it." Ruin everybody's day. And Karlissa said, "Say less," because the moment that paper hit the timeline, the whole world turned into FBI agents overnight. Fans zoomed in, enhanced, cropped, screenshot, re-uploaded, analyzed, decoded, like this was the Zapruder film of paternity tests. And the wild part? Every arrow pointed to one thing: Junior might not be Blueface's son. Let that marinate like leftover drama in a Zeus Network microwave. This isn't a twist. This is a demolition. And the reactions? Oh, they weren't just loud. They were screaming like the group chat discovered betrayal at 3 a.m. Chrisean froze. Blueface malfunctioned. The internet started breakdancing. And Karlissa. She stood there like Thanos, whispering, "I told you. If you think this story ends here, oh, you sweet summer child, no. This is just the spark before the explosion. The moment that DNA report leaked, the entire internet felt like someone unplugged reality and plugged in a telenovela written by a stressed-out intern with a caffeine addiction. People weren't breathing. They were refreshing their timelines like stockbrokers watching a market crash. Because this wasn't just any paternity rumor. This was Karlissa dropping a verified document like she was submitting evidence to the Supreme Court of messiness. And with one screenshot, she didn't just shake the table. She flipped it, set it on fire, and filed insurance on it. The digital streets erupted instantly, treating the PDF like holy scripture, while the comments split between "I knew it" and "Lord." Not again, Blueface, who normally lives online like it's his natural habitat, suddenly went suspiciously quiet. The kind of quiet that screams guilt, shock, or someone slowly rereading the word negative with sweating emojis. Meanwhile, Chrisean's fan base gathered like an emergency prayer circle, trying to manifest an alternate timeline where this report never existed. But the internet doesn't grant miracles. It grants chaos. And chaos is exactly what Karlissa served, piping hot, with the confidence of a woman who's been waiting years for everyone to admit she was right. She didn't even look surprised. She looked relieved, like she'd finally gotten her refund after arguing with customer service for too long. As the details spread, you could practically feel the collective gasp echo across every platform. JR's paternity, once shoved into the world as a proud headline and used as ammo in every online fight, suddenly turned into a question mark that weighed heavier than Blueface's entire rap career. Memes started forming instantly because the internet has no patience for grief, only punchlines. People began editing Blueface into Maury episodes, pointing at the screen with captions like, "You are not the father," and honestly, the accuracy was disrespectful. But that's the price of fame. The public won't cry with you, they'll drag you with humor. What made it even messier was the timing. Chrisean had been celebrating Junior like he was the second coming of hip-hop royalty, posting every moment with pride. But when the report dropped, her confidence cracked like a cheap phone screen. Her supporters began demanding answers, asking for statements, reactions, something, but she went into strategic silence mode. The kind celebrities use when their lawyers say, "Do not touch your phone," and Blueface's camp? They were scrambling, trying to figure out whether to deny, deflect, or disappear. Because suddenly the narrative flipped, and nobody wanted to be caught holding the wrong version of the truth. Meanwhile, Karlissa was practically doing victory laps. Posting cryptic lines like she invented paternity science. She knew she held the internet by the throat and wasn't letting go. Even her rivals had to admit she delivered the plot twist of the year. Old tweets resurfaced where she hinted about doubts, Screenshots popped up from arguments she had, and suddenly every accusation she'd ever made felt like a prophecy. People who used to mock her were now saying, wait, maybe she was onto something, and she embraced that energy like a woman who finally won an argument she started in. 20-1. But the most shocking part wasn't the leak, it was what the document implied for the entire narrative. For months, Junior, being Blueface's son, was the foundation of every fight, every breakdown, every online meltdown. It fueled songs, interviews, live streams, reality TV moments, and endless drama. Remove the piece, and suddenly everything collapses like a Jenga tower pulled by a toddler. Fans started asking, did Chrisean know? Was Blueface aware? Did someone lie? Or was this all a catastrophic misunderstanding that exploded at the worst possible time? Social media detectives dove in head first, digging through old videos, analyzing facial features, comparing timelines, matching behaviors, turning the whole situation into a crowdsourced investigation. Some claimed Junior looked nothing like Blueface from day one, while others argued genetics can be unpredictable like Hollywood reboots. But regardless of opinions, the only thing the internet loves more than drama is being right. And suddenly everyone was acting like they had predicted this chaos from the beginning. Even users who stayed silent for months resurfaced with "I've been saying this," as if silence counts as prophecy. The truth is, this wasn't just a scandal, it was a cultural earthquake. Because the paternity storyline wasn't a side plot. It was the main event driving the Blueface Chrisean entertainment empire. Every argument had been tied to it. Every emotional explosion, every fight, every insult. Now, with one verified sheet of paper, the entire franchise crumbled into confusion. You could see the shockwaves ripple through fan pages, gossip channels, and even celebrities who chimed in not because they cared, but because being part of trending chaos is good for their engagement. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion. From influencers who barely know English to rappers who can't spell paternity but wanted to join the conversation. Even industry insiders began whispering that this could permanently damage reputations. Blueface, who painted himself as the reluctant father dragged into drama, now had to reform his entire identity. Chrisean, who fought tooth and nail defending motherhood amid accusations, faced a brutal wave of "explain this" energy. And Junior, a baby who didn't choose any of this, became the center of a public spectacle, a cautionary tale about what happens when reality TV-level chaos spills into real life. The stakes skyrocketed from petty drama to existential crisis. And while the world reeled, Karlissa continued moving like the CEO of chaos. She posted, deleted, reposted, hinted, shaded, and smirked her way through the day like she was performing in her own season finale. Her name trended nationally, her followers multiplied, and even her haters begrudgingly gave her credit for delivering the biggest twist of the year. It was the type of moment that makes you stare at your phone whispering, "Ain't no way," while scrolling harder than your thumbs can handle. But beneath all the jokes and commentary, one thing became clear: this wasn't just entertainment anymore. This was a scandal that shattered trust, rewrote narratives, and left every person involved scrambling to pick up pieces. And as the internet demanded answers, one brutal truth loomed over everything: this leak wasn't the end of the story. It was only the beginning of something far uglier, louder, and more explosive than anyone was ready for. The explosion didn't slow down, if anything, it mutated into something even more chaotic. By the time the sun came up the next morning, the internet was running on caffeine, conspiracy theories, and raw disrespect. Everyone had a new angle, a new edit, a new meme, a new source claiming to know what really happened behind the scenes. It felt like every group chat turned into a roundtable discussion, every fan page turned into a courtroom, and every hater turned into a Harvard-level geneticist overnight. The streets weren't just talking, they were spiraling. And this chaos wasn't accidental. It was destiny grinding its teeth and saying, "Let me make this mess even juicier." Celebrities began chiming in like they were auditioning for a new season of Love and Hip Hop, DNA edition. Rapper after rapper found a reason to post cryptic, Messages about trust, loyalty, and knowing who your circle is. Half of them weren't even talking about Blueface or Chrisean, they just smelled attention and jumped like moths toward a cloud-flavored flame. Even reality stars who haven't been relevant since Obama's first term were suddenly experts on paternity law, giving speeches nobody asked for. It was beautiful, delusional, and pure digital theater. Then came the memes though. The memes were vicious. JR was photoshopped into every Maury scene ever created. Blueface's reactions were recreated using cartoon characters, anime edits, WW clips, and even SpongeBob crying at the Krusty Krab. Someone made a whole timeline thread with dramatic music, turning the scandal into a documentary trailer. The internet wasn't healing. It was roasting this family like Thanksgiving turkey. And to make it even worse, people were comparing the situation to every pop culture scandal imaginable, saying things like, "This plot twist is crazier than when they killed off Derek Shepherd," or "This makes Tristan Thompson look loyal." But what really took the internet from chaotic to unhinged was the avalanche of fan theories. Some believed Chrisean always knew and was hiding it like a government secret. Others thought Blueface manipulated the timeline to avoid child support. A few said the report had to be fake because Chrisean would never. And then there were the wild theories involving secret lovers, hidden relationships, hospital mix-ups, celebrity sabotage, and enough plot twists to make Shonda Rhimes pack her bags and retire. People weren't just guessing. They were building full cinematic universes around these theories like unpaid Marvel interns. Chrisean's silence only poured gasoline on the fire. Each hour she didn't respond felt like a dramatic cliffhanger designed to torture the public. Fans camped in her comments like protesters outside a courthouse, demanding updates, explanations, cares, something. They were emotionally invested like this was the season finale of a show they binge-watched for years. Meanwhile, her closest supporters defended her like she was their blood relative, typing essays longer than their school assignments while fighting strangers online who claimed she had something to hide. The timeline was a war zone, and both sides were losing brain cells by the minute, while everyone else panicked. Karlissa reveled in the spotlight like she'd won a Grammy for Best Dramatic Performance in a Family Feud. She dropped quotes that sounded like prophecy, posted selfies with captions like "told y'all," and even liked comments about karma doing its job. She was moving like a woman who had waited patiently for the universe to hand her the perfect moment to say, "I been new." You could practically hear her laughing at the chaos she created, watching the reactions like a queen enjoying her kingdom crumbling for entertainment. Her confidence was so high that even her haters were exhausted trying to drag her. Blueface eventually broke his silence, but instead of clarifying anything, he posted a single line that confused everyone even further. It wasn't denial, acceptance, or concern. It was something cryptic like, "Y'all gon' see," and that was enough to make the internet combust again. People interpreted the message 9,000 different ways. Some said he was confirming the report, others insisted he had a counter-report coming, and a few said he was teasing a new song. At this point, nothing felt impossible. This family communicates like they're writing riddles for a scavenger hunt no one signed up for. Brand deals got messy too. Influencers reacted like stock prices were dropping. Some companies quietly distanced themselves from the chaos, while others used it as an opportunity to drop DNA test-related jokes in their marketing. Even verified accounts made memes comparing their employees to Blueface, captioning things like, "When you realize the intern isn't actually your son, the internet has no respect for tragedy. It only respects engagement." And this scandal, it was printing engagement like a money machine. Meanwhile, podcasts treated the drama like breaking news. Hosts were analyzing tone, timestamps, old interviews, body language, astrology signs, anything that could be stretched into a dramatic explanation. One podcaster claimed this was the biggest cultural moment since Beyoncé dropped Lemonade, which was not only outrageous but somehow believable given how consumed the world was. Whisper networks said even mainstream media outlets were considering covering it, not because it mattered, but because it was too chaotic to ignore. Fans also started dragging up old receipts, stitching together ancient posts, screenshots from forgotten live streams, and half-finished arguments to prove their theories. People acted like digital archaeologists digging up artifacts. Some demanded Blueface take another DNA test right away, as if he could just schedule one like a dentist appointment. Others asked Chrisean to go live immediately, pretending they deserved answers because they invested emotionally in the baby. Parasocial relationships were on steroids, and the entitlement levels were hitting Olympic heights. At the same time, a whole new wave of jokes targeted the idea of celebrities treating children like plot points. One viral post said, "Reality TV babies go through more drama before age than we do in our whole lives." Another said, "This family tree needs Wi-Fi because the branches aren't connecting." It was savage, hilarious, and undeniably tragic all at once. But the internet stopped caring about nuance years ago. And then came the twist nobody expected. Leaked messages began circulating, claiming Blueface had been suspicious for months but stayed quiet to avoid backlash during his beef with Chrisean. People zoomed into the messages like detectives, trying to determine authenticity. Whether real or fake didn't matter, the impact was nuclear. Screenshots spread faster than apologies after a scandal, fueling a fresh round of theories. If he knew, why stay silent? Did he protect Chrisean? Did he wait for the right moment? Or did he hope the truth disappeared on its own like most celebrity problems? The uncertainty was its own drama. Through all this madness, one unsettling truth settled over the internet like a heavy fog. No matter what side people were on, they were hooked. This scandal wasn't just news. It was entertainment, obsession, distraction, and dopamine all wrapped in one combustible package. And every new update felt like another earthquake cracking an already broken foundation. The story wasn't slowing, healing, or fading. It was mutating into something even darker and louder, spilling into every corner of the culture. Because the reality is, nobody knew what the truth was anymore. The DNA leak created a vacuum, and the internet filled it with theories, jokes, emotions, lies, hope, and rage. And as the world waited for anyone to give a straight answer, one thing became crystal clear. The aftermath of this scandal would be louder, uglier, and far more destructive than the leak itself. By the time the dust even tried to settle, the entire situation had evolved from a scandal into a full-blown cultural event. People weren't just reacting anymore, they were investing. Every update felt like a stock tip. Every screenshot felt like classified intel. And the public didn't want clarity. They wanted carnage. The more chaotic it got, the more everyone leaned in like kids listening to a forbidden bedtime story. The world wasn't watching a family fall apart, they were watching characters in a reality saga they felt entitled to control. The aftermath hit Blueface the hardest. Overnight, his image split into a billion versions of himself. The confused dad, the victim of deception, the guy who should have known, the guy who never cared, the rapper who thought Wi-Fi tests counted as DNA. Every narrative clashed like bumper cars, leaving him with a reputation messier than a fast food bag after a road trip. And instead of speaking clearly, he kept dropping cryptic messages that felt less like explanations and more like someone trying to sound deep on purpose. Fans begged for clarity, but he kept tweeting like he was writing fortune cookies for broken people. Chrisean, on the other hand, became the emotional epicenter of the fallout. Public sympathy split like a cracked mirror. Some felt she had been blindsided, others believed she manipulated the situation, and a loud minority insisted that she didn't owe anyone anything. Her silence became its own storyline, its own cliffhanger, its own emotional cinematic moment. Every time she posted a selfie, people zoomed in like crime analysts searching for clues in her eyelashes. She didn't even need to speak anymore. Her existence generated commentary. And when she finally broke silence, even slightly, even indirectly, even through an emoji, the internet detonated like they were waiting outside her digital door with microphones. Karlissa, meanwhile, wasn't backing down, she was leveling up. She strutted through the aftermath like she'd been preparing her victory speech since 2019. Every post felt like a monologue from a villain who doesn't see themselves as the villain at all. She claimed vindication, clarity, justice, and a front row seat to the chaos she orchestrated. People hate her, love her, fear her, mock her. But one thing they couldn't do was ignore her. She had made herself the main character in a story that wasn't supposed to be hers. And in the ruins of the scandal, she stood tall like a general surveying a battlefield she absolutely enjoyed. The most shocking shift was how quickly public perception turned into moral commentary. Websites posted expert opinions on the emotional trauma of public paternity scandals. Influencers recorded hour-long analysis videos like PhD dissertations nobody asked for. Even therapists on TikTok started breaking down the family dynamic like they had personal access to everyone involved. The internet collectively decided it was qualified to diagnose strangers for free as long as the algorithm pushed it. And people ate it up because chaos disguised as education always feels convincing enough. But underneath all the noise, reputations took real damage. Brand deals quietly evaporated behind the scenes. Business partners distanced themselves like witnesses avoiding eye contact in a courtroom. Even music platforms saw shift streams fluctuated, comments flooded, algorithms adjusted. The scandal wasn't just drama. It was altering careers in real time. Blueface's critics used the moment as ammunition. Chrisean's haters sharpened their insults like hobby knives. Karlissa's supporters danced while her critics screamed. Every fanbase became an army fueled by caffeine, delusion, and WI-V. As days dragged on, a darker outcome settled in. Junior became the symbol of an argument bigger than him. People weaponized a baby in debates they had no right to join. It highlighted everything twisted about celebrity culture, how quickly children become talking points, how fast families turn into entertainment, how easily the internet forgets humanity when drama feels delicious. Commenters threw out words like accountability, truth, and responsibility, yet none of them practiced it. The scandal reminded everyone that the internet is not a community. It's a stadium, and scandals are the games people buy tickets for. Slowly, tiny slivers of truth began leaking out, not the dramatic kind, but the real, quiet, inconvenient kind. Private conversations surfaced. Old recordings resurfaced. Statements from sources close to the situation conflicted with each other. The more facts appeared, the less people cared about them. By now, the drama had grown bigger than the truth. The narrative had become a monster that didn't need facts to survive. People didn't want clarity, they wanted entertainment. And this scandal was feeding them like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Still, one thing became painfully clear. Nothing would ever go back to normal. Blueface and Chrisean's entire dynamic built on dysfunction, chaos, and viral explosions had lost its anchor. Their storyline had revolved around Junior as the emotional centerpiece. Without certainty, without direction, without shared narrative, they were drifting. The public sensed it. Fans anticipated the next meltdown, the next denial, the next explosive reaction. Everyone held their breath like an audience waiting for a final plot twist they weren't sure they wanted. Karlissa thrived in this uncertainty. She released statements disguised as shade, shade disguised as prophecy, prophecy disguised as truth. She understood the algorithm better than half the influencers online. She knew timing, she knew tension, she knew how to drop just enough information to keep everyone hooked, but never satisfied. She was unfiltered, unbothered, unraveling decades of family tension in the loudest, most public way possible. And people couldn't look away because she wasn't just delivering drama. She was orchestrating a cultural moment, the tragedy, comedy, spectacle. And collapse blended together until the scandal didn't feel like a single event anymore. It felt like a saga. One that didn't have a hero, didn't have a villain, didn't have a narrator you could trust. It was a wildfire burning through reputations, relationships, careers, and logic. And yet people were addicted. They needed updates like oxygen. The scandal had become a digital drug, and the timeline demanded its next hit. And here's the part nobody wants to admit. This isn't the end. Far from it. Scandals like this don't conclude, they evolve, mutate, shapeshift, and come back stronger. The fallout is still fresh, the wound's still open, The ego's still bruised, the alliances still fragile. The world isn't waiting for closure. It's waiting for the next explosion. Because with this family, with this level of chaos, with this kind of ego versus ego energy, another twist isn't a possibility. It's a guarantee. And if you made it this far without dropping your phone, screaming into a pillow, or blocking at least 3 people in the comments, congratulations, you have officially survived one of the wildest scandals the internet has coughed up this year. But let's be real, this story isn't slowing down. It's not calming down. It's not going away. This is the kind of drama that keeps mutating like it has its own Wi-Fi connection and a personal vendetta against peace. And you already know the next plot twist is probably loading right now while you're listening to this. So before the next round of chaos drops harder than a mixtape recorded in a basement, make sure you hit that like button like it owes you money. Go ahead and smash the subscribe button too. Don't tap it politely. Absolutely destroy it, because around here, scandals don't drip, they flood. And trust me, you do not want to miss when the next explosion hits the timeline. We cover every twist, every meltdown, every leaked message, every crying livestream, every shade-filled subtweet, and every plot twist celebrities think they can hide. Spoiler alert, they can't. Drop a comment too. Tell me whose side you're on, who you think is lying, who you think is spiraling, and who you think is about to snap next. I read everything, yes, even the unhinged ones typed at 3 a.m. with your thumb shaking and your Wi-Fi dying. Your chaos fuels this channel, and honestly, I appreciate that kind of commitment, because this is Fame Flaws, where celebrities fall apart, scandals get louder, and the truth is always messier than the rumor. Stay locked in, stay dramatic, stay ready. And remember, in this world, the next bombshell is never hours away. It's minutes. It's minutes.